Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me and watch this video. For today's project, we will use a box. I will use bigger one than this one for this project, but obviously big box will not fit in here to show you over camera. We will use cardstock and we will use design paper. I am using this one. It's dark academia. This is, I used this paper in one of the previous projects, and I do have some paper left. I want this to be a little bit on the darker side, so this is the reason why I'm choosing this paper. And actually now when I'm looking at it, I don't know if you can see it, and this is exactly what we will be making. Not exactly like it, because I need something not as tall and not as deep, and the front will be lower. So I'm sure that many of you noticed already from my videos that I do have a lot of notepads, notebooks, that type of thing. And just to show you, this is what I do with my designs. I write them down, I sketch what I do. And this is the reason why I chose to create this project, something to hold all my designs, all my notebooks, so I would have it right on my desk and easy accessible. So whatever we're gonna make, it will fit the smaller size of the notebooks. Most of them I purchased from Dollar Tree. So the panels that I have, my widest one is not even 6.5. This one seems a little bit wider. This one is 7. But since I want to make it 7 inches deep, I really need to cut and have that cardboard about 8 inches. So I am also going to show you how to extend the width of your cardboard. So the most important part is to pay attention to your straight edges. This one, this piece came off of the flap. And you can see I'm trying to cut out that tape. So wherever the tape was, this is the straight side. So before we do anything, we will make sure that we have 90-degree angle right here. So I will pre-cut this piece just to make that angle. Just like that. And I want my piece to be approximately 9 inches long. So I will mark 9 inches and 9 inches, and I will make another cut. Right here. So now all these 3 sides are nice and straight. I need to cut my piece to approximately 8 inches. Actually 8.5. So this will be the side of our project. So This one is 5, 6, 7. I will cut this down to 6 inches. And we will need 2 panels like that. So I will take another piece that I have. I will line it up straight right here, and I will use this as my form. Okay, so we will pre-cut another piece. And we will actually need 4 pieces like that. Okay, so far I have 2, and you can see they are nice and straight. So I'm gonna have to pre-cut 2 more just like it. I will do this off camera and I will be right back. Okay, so I do have 4 of them cut. The dimension of these is 6 inches by 9. And I mentioned to you that I need this to be deeper. I need to be able to place in here my notebook, which right now it seems like it's fine. But when I add additional walls to this, this will not be wide enough. So I want to make it a little bit wider. So I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna extend the width. As you can see, if I would use any of these journals from Dollar Tree, I wouldn't be able to place them inside. This is the reason why I do want to extend this, and I will extend this by another 2 inches, which means I have to pre-cut more board, and I'm aligning with the bottom to make sure that this is straight, and then I will trim it to have that 90-degree angle. Okay. So I'm gonna need 4 pieces, 2 inch wide. So I need 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and I will have 3 out of this piece. 2 inches, 4 and 6. So let me measure 9 inches from one side to the other. So we will trim this to size. Okay, so now this is 9 inches tall. And now I think I just cut off my marks. That's 2 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. So now we are cutting 2-inch strips. Okay. This is one. This is going to be 2 and 3. Okay, so these are 2 by 9 and we need 4 pieces. So I need to take another box and we will cut 1 more piece. Okay, so I did cut up another box. I cut off the panels and the same process. I want this angle to be 90 degrees. So I will just cut it like that right across. Now we need another piece, 9 inches by 2. So 9. Let's cut this to size. Okay, and then we need 2 inches wide. Okay. All right. So now we have 4 of these. So now let's finish up with this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm positioning according to my board. As you can see, I'm trying to line up with this line because we're gonna use this 6 by 9 and we're gonna position another of those shorter pieces. Now, to make this a little bit easier on you, you might want to use tape just to kind of tape them together so they don't move on you, just like that. And that will be the width or the depth of our piece. See? So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take another piece. Let me turn this around. And you see where this joint is right here? This is where we're gonna position the full wider piece, just like that. And then we position the 2-inch piece on this side. And you can see it's not cut perfectly straight, but that is okay, as long as your overall dimensions are right. So let me just tape this up so it won't move on me. Okay, so you see you got joint on this side and you will have a joint on this side, and this is how we're gonna glue this together to create this really thick board. And we're gonna do the same thing with those other 2 pieces. Okay, so let's just glue these pieces together. Right, pay attention to where the joint is. It has to be on the opposite side as the piece below. So now, while you're gluing this, make sure that you glue it straight. And now I can see this side is not perfectly straight. I want nice finish, so I will just trim this off. Just like that. Okay. So now 1 piece is done. We will do the same thing to the second piece. All right, joins on the opposite side, and we will glue this together just like that. Okay, so we got two pieces. These will be the two sides, and we will angle them, but not yet. So now what we are missing is really the middle piece, which will be the base. We are missing the back and the front. So I don't want this to be too wide. I will make it approximately 4 inches, but we need to cut the board to 5 inches because these will sit right on the top of it, and they are approximately 1/4 inch wide. So we need to cut more cardboard, and the cardboard is going to be 5 inches by 6 inches. So the process is really the same. Identify which side it's the straight side. We will trim it off to make that 90-degree angle. Now I am going to measure how long this is. This is over 6 inches. I will make 5 inches. So let's measure 5 inches. And let me measure this way. 5 and 5. And then this way we need 8 and 8. Okay, so this will be the bottom. So when we put this together, it will sit right on the top of this base. So we need to cut another piece just like it. And we will repeat the process. So I'm lining this up, and this one actually has 90 degrees, but this corner is flat. So I will just cut that off because I want this board to be nice and even in a thickness. So now 8 inches. And 8 inches. And we will cut it this way. And now we need to trim to 5. So 5 and 5. And we will just cut this off. Okay. So now we got those two pieces. Double check to make sure that they are all even. And it seems like these are. So we will glue both of these together. And you know, it might seem that the walls are going to be really thick, but this is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to make sure that this piece is really strong enough and it will hold out well. Okay, so this will be the bottom. These are the two sides. So now we are missing piece for the back, which would be 9 inches tall, and for the width it will be 4.5. So let me just mark this one. So this one is 5 by 8, and that's for the bottom. And these two are the sides, 6 by 9. Okay, two sides, the bottom. And now, I don't know if this is long enough. No. So I have only one piece left, which means I have to cut up more cardboard. Okay, I cut up more cardboard. And the process will be the same. Line it up so it's straight on the bottom, and this side was actually the edge of the box of the flap. So now I will trim this to have this 90-degree angle, and now we need to mark 9 inches. 9 inches, and we will need 2 pieces. Okay, and now the width, we need 4.5. 4.5, and let's cut this. Okay, so this one is 9 by 4.5, and we need one more piece like this. Okay, so this is the second piece. Let's make sure that it's cut nice and straight, and it is. So now we will glue both of these together. Just like that. Push it just a little bit, not too hard, because that's a cardboard. All right. So this one is the back. So as you can see, we have all our pieces done. So this is the bottom, those are the two sides. This piece will be on the back, and the only thing we are missing is the piece right here on the front. So for that, we can use some leftover pieces, and to save on time, you can just glue 2 pieces together, and then we can cut it. So I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna glue this piece into this one, making sure that the bottom is nice and straight. So this is the part that we are really paying attention to. Okay. So now this is the good side, this is the good side. So now we're gonna measure 4.5, 4.5. So let's, with the light I don't see where the mark is. So now we are just cutting through 2 of those sheets, since they are glued already. So this one will be on the front, 4.5, and it really depends how tall you want this piece to be. And I'm gonna make this 2.5 inches only. Okay, so this one is 4.5 by 2.5, and this is front. Okay, so we have our parts cut, but we are not done with the sides. We don't want these sides to be square like this. We want to create some type of design or angle. So because we cut the front to 2 inches, I will mark this is 2.5 inches. So we will make it mark 2.5 inch mark right here. And I will make mark in here approximately not 4.5. I'm gonna do it 4 inches. And we need to mark the top. So 4 inches will be here. So now we will join both pieces with the line like that, and this is where we're gonna make the cut. Okay, so this will be our side. So we got the bottom, and this we will position just like that on the side. So now we got one side done. We will work on the other side. So we're gonna position them even, just like this, and we will make it mark. So this way we are sure that both sides will be identical. Okay. So now our whole entire frame is done. So this will be the bottom. Those are the two sides. This is the front. And here will be the back. I hope you can see it. Just like that. So now to put this together, we will cut cardstock. So you can see how this is going to be positioned. And we will start putting this together. So the cardstock, for now, I am going to cut 2-inch strips. And I don't know how many I will need. We are designing this as I go. I have not made this previously. I made it in my head actually. I know how I want this to look. And I know how I want to build this. But this is the first time I'm actually making it. I did not make any sample of this previously. So now we will score. So I'm going to try to score this somewhat on the middle, which means I'm going to score it at 7/8 and 1 1/8. If you want, you could do it 1 inch and 1 1/4. The distance between those two scores, I want to have 1/4 of an inch because this is approximately the thickness of the board. And when I'm looking at it, this board, because I use two different boxes, the thickness is a little bit different on this one than it is on the sides. The sides of the board, they actually measure 3/8. So maybe I'm gonna do one more piece, 7/8 and 1 1/8. One more. I know we're gonna use quite few of these strips. So this one, I'm gonna do 3/4 of an inch and 1 1/8. Oops, it slipped on me. So this one is wider. This one, I'm gonna do the same thing, 3/4 of an inch and 1 1/8. And one more wider one. We'll see if we're gonna need any more. 3/4 of an inch, 1 1/8 of an inch. So these are the wider pieces, and I will just fold them, burnish them. This will give us this really nice edge. See, so for the wider piece, when we wrap this, you're gonna have beautiful finish. Okay, and those wider ones, I'm gonna put it on the side. I don't want to mix them up with the 1/4 inch. Okay, this is the narrow piece. Okay. All right. So these pieces we will use to cover the edges. Now, these pieces, they have somewhat of a unusual shape. So I would suggest to take piece of paper, and I am just taking white cardstock that I have because I want you to see what I'm gonna do. We need to copy the form of this piece, and later on you will see why. It's gonna actually make your job a little bit easier later on. So this is the form that we have. Okay, and we're gonna put this on the side. We're not gonna use it right now. Now I'm gonna take another sheet of cardstock, and I will cut another 5 strips. I don't know if I'm gonna need 5. Probably not. Maybe I'm gonna cut 3, 4. Might as well. We will cut 5. Actually 6, because there's 12 inches, so we got 6 strips. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, something off with my math today, but that's all right. So now we will start putting this together. So this will go just like that. So what we're gonna do, we will score these 5 pieces at 1 inch, only one score, just on the middle, just like that. And if you're counting with me, you can see that there is 6 pieces. So my math was all right. Okay. So now I will fold all of them and burnish them. Okay. And now we will pre-cut this to 8 inches. And we will need 2 of those, 5 inches long. I'm sorry, 8 inches long. That's 1, 8-inch long, 2. So what we're gonna do, we will apply the glue only to one side for now, and we will place it right here on the edge of that board. Make sure it's positioned straight, just like that, with this little flap. And actually, I told you wrong, because we're gonna have to position this on this side. So let's redo this. Okay. So we will position right here on this side at the edge, just like that. Because when this will be standing up like this, that's when we will glue this part to the base, just like that. So we're gonna leave this for now alone, and we're gonna do the same thing to this side. Oops. So I'm gonna apply the glue just like that, and I'm gonna put it at the edge right here. Just like this. Okay, because that will be the second side right here. So we got those 2 done, and now we need to do the same thing to this front. The front is 4.5, so we will cut this piece to 4.5. And we're gonna need 1 for the back, which is also 4.5. So now we apply the glue just like that, and we will position that on the edge just like we did the other pieces, just like this. Let this get stuck. So this will be the base, and now we have our back, and we will repeat the same process, just like this. Okay, so now we're gonna put that where it belongs. Now we will start gluing these pieces together. So we will apply the glue right here, and I will apply the glue right here on that cardboard. Now I'm aligning this straight to the edge. And now we're gonna squish this. So you see, you want this edge to be nice and straight. Just like that. Pay attention to the front because you want to make sure that there is no paper sticking out right here on the front. If it does, then just trim it a little bit with the scissors. Even on the angle, it doesn't matter. You just don't want any of this paper to stick out. So we got one side done. Now we're gonna do the same thing to this side. So we will apply the glue. We will position this piece looking at the edge on this side. And now I'm gonna squish it just to make sure everything adheres. Just like that. So now you can see that we are beginning to build this piece. So now, before we do the front, we should really do the back, because later it's not going to be comfortable for us to do it. So again, we apply the glue, just like this. We're going to put this right between, lining up the back. So now you see we got 3 sides. And now we can work on the front. So the front, we will do the same thing. Apply the glue. When we position this, you fit right in between those panels. And because I can't see it with the camera, I'm just gonna squish it with the ruler. And okay, this is all stuck. So as you can see, we are building our form. So now the short pieces that we have left, we will put them on the corners, but let's wrap these first. So we're gonna cut them to size. So I will measure, and my piece measures approximately 2 3/4. So we will cut 2 pieces, and those are the leftovers that I'm using. 2 3/4. We will apply the glue, and we will wrap this corner all the way to the bottom, just like that. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. So I'm placing the glue right here on the corner and wrapping those both pieces together. So this portion will be holding everything from the outside, but we will do additional support on the inside. So now we're gonna turn this around, and we're gonna do the same thing over here with the back piece. So the parts that we have cut for the corners, we will apply it just like that, but before we do that, we need to measure. So from the bottom of the box to the top is 9 1/4. So I will trim those pieces to 9 1/4, and we will need 2 of them. 9 1/4. So now I'm gonna turn this to the side, and I want to position this the way it should be. And now these will go just like that to cover this corner. Now we are covering all these corners because we will put decorative paper right on the top, and you will have that pretty finish, that black peeking from underneath. And you can see what a beautiful crisp corners you have actually on all sides. Okay, so this one is done. Now we're gonna turn it around and do the same thing with this side. So I will apply the glue and position this just the way we have done it before, right on the corner. And let's squish this to make sure that everything adheres. Just like that. We want that nice corner. And we want to make sure that everything adhered. So now you can see that our box is gaining the shape, and that's what we want. So now we will cover the whole entire base with the corner strips, just like that.